Hello again and welcome back to the virtualinstructor.com. This is a video tutorial on how to create metallic looking text. We're going to be using Adobe Photoshop CS4 for this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new file and this option pops up. I'm going to change pixels to inches. We're going to change this to 10 inches because we want a more horizontal image. I'm going to change my height to 5 inches. Normally I would keep resolution at 300, but for this demonstration I'm going to keep it at 100 pixels per inch. The higher this number, the sharper the image. Click OK, and we've got our image that pops up. Okay, this is our picture plane. We're going to be dealing with text today, so I'm going to go ahead and select the text tool. Some options are up here for our text. The first option is our font name. We're going to stick with Impact, although there's a variety of different choices. Different fonts have different options regarding this. Impact, however, is just regular, but some have bold, italics, and so on. Our font size is right here. 60 points going to be fine. Registration is up here too, left, middle, or right. This is the color of our text. A lot of people mistake this down here as being the text color, but actually this is your text color. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a place where I want my text to be, and I'll just click once and let my cursor come up. A lot of people like to pull it out and create a text box. For what we're doing here, text box is not going to be very practical, so we're just going to go ahead and click once, and then we're going to type metallic. This is going to be a metallic looking text, so metallic is an appropriate appropriate word. Now I'm going to go ahead and transform that. So I'll go up to Edit, I'll select Transform and Scale, and I'm going to scale this to make it a little bit larger, so it'll fill up my picture plane a little bit more. Double click inside of that transform when it's done. A lot of my students try to click right in the dead center. You don't have to click right in the dead center, just somewhere inside of that box, and your transform will be applied. Now what I want to do is I'm going to do some layer effects. So I can hit F7, or I can go up here to Window and select layers. F7 is the shortcut, and then my layers come up. Right now you have a background and you have a text layer. Every time you use the text tool, it creates a brand new layer. That's important to know. So we've got a text layer here. It's a metallic. It's got a word that we typed on there. Now down here at the bottom of your layer menu, you've got several different options. This is the option you want to worry about right now, the FX. I like to think of it as the layer FX, like FX. But if you ask Adobe, these are called layer styles now. So we'll call it a layer style, and I'll just click on that, and these options come up. Okay. We're going to be using a layer style called a gradient overlay, but before we do that we need to pick the two colors we want in our gradient. To do that, we'll go over here to the toolbar, and we're going to select a foreground color that we're going to make this look like gold. So I'm going to select a lighter yellow that could be used as gold. Click OK. And then for our background color, well, I like the color we've got chosen here already. But I'll go ahead and bring that up and so you can see how that works, and I'll just pick that darker gold. So you want a lighter value and then a darker value, okay? But you can really pick whatever colors you want. Then I'll go back over here to the layer effects or the layer styles, and I'll click on that and bring up my my options again, and I apologize, my computer's running a little slow tonight. And I'm going to click on Gradient Overlay, and immediately you'll see something happens to the text. Okay, that's not necessarily what we want to happen. So in this little layer style menu that comes up, we can change things. First thing we're going to change is the actual gradient. We don't want it black to white. Instead, we want the two colors we chose. So I'll click on that. Immediately our text has changed. Okay. Also, we don't want a linear gradient. Instead, we want a reflected gradient. So I'll select reflected, and you can see what happens with that. Alright, now that we've got this layer style menu up, we can see we can do all the different layer styles that are available. Well, we're going to do a couple more to this. The first thing we're going to do is bevel and boss. don't click in the box, but click on the text and double click on the text, and your bevel and emboss options come up. As soon as I click that, you can see something happen to our metallic word over here. It got a little bit of a shadow and it looks a little more three-dimensional. We're going to go for an inner bevel here, although there are different options for what type of bevel you could use. The technique we want is not smooth. Instead, we want chisel hard. Now, when we choose that, not much changes. Changes a little bit, but not much. The depth is just going to affect the strength of your shadow, basically. And underneath that, this is where you're going to really see something happen here. When we move the size in one direction, you can really see how our word has changed. Okay, it really looks like it's metal, a little bit more like it's metal at least, and it really looks three-dimensional. Okay, now underneath shading, there's a lot of exciting stuff that happens under here. You can change the direction of your light source. So that angle up there is really the angle of your lighting, and when you move that around, all kinds of stuff happens to your words. Now, the gloss contour is real important in making this look like it's shiny metal. You can try all these little different shapes and see how it affects the contour or the gloss of the object. Double humps for me works really great for this, and when I click that, you can see it looks really metallic. Another one that works pretty good is this option. Okay, that one's a little too dark for me, so I'm going to stick with the double humps. I'm going to call them the double humps. Then I'll click off of that. Highlight mode screen is fine. Shadow mode multiply is fine. All that stuff is fine. But we do want to click the contour button. The contour is just going to increase the shine a little bit and tell the computer that we do want to mimic the contour of the word itself. All right. So we're going to come back to this menu in a minute, but right now just click OK. And we've got our metallic word. It's obviously on a white background right now, and we want to make it stand out a little bit more, so we're going to put it on a black background. To do that, I'm going to create a new layer. So I'll go down in my layer menu, and I'll select the create a new layer option, and there it is, layer 1 popped up there. Now I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to paint that completely a black, so it stands out a little bit more. So I'll select the black color and click OK, and I'll go over to the paint bucket and go ahead and cover it all black. Alright, don't panic when this happens, because all you have to do is go over to your layer menu and pull layer 1 behind your text layer. Okay, just like that. Not sure if I got it. Let's try that again. There we go. Pull it down there. There we go. And then your metallic words stand out even more. So to make them even a higher contrast, we're going to add another layer effect or another layer style. So I'll double click on the effects, and our menu pops back up. Now the one we're going to add right now is called outer glow. So I'm going to double click on outer glow, and you can see this is the color of our outer glow. We're going to click on that, and we're going to choose a different color. We're going to choose it from the color picker. I'm going to actually choose a white for that, so it's a little clear. Click OK, and then I'm going to increase the size underneath the elements, and you can really see what happens when you do that. That looks pretty good, so we'll click OK. And then you have now created metallic text using Adobe Photoshop CS4. Hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com.